So as you know, the purpose of URI is to promote enduring daily interfaith cooperation, to end religiously motivated violence, and to create cultures of peace, justice, and healing for the earth and all living beings. And this is what connects all of us along with our PPPs. And this is what drives all the work that I do every day, that we do every day, that the Global Council does, that all of us, throughout the world do to really inspire us to do our work and our efforts, whether volunteering, whether paid, we are all driven by the same purpose. Since we have a few minutes, I'll just ask the question and then turn off the screen. Of these three sentences, to promote enduring daily interfaith cooperation, to end religiously motivated violence, and to create cultures of peace, justice, and healing for the earth and all living beings, which one speaks more specifically to you and why? What what really drives you in either one of these three sentences? Mary, this is yours.
Yes, so attendance requirements and calendars, ironically, is the first one. And it actually is very important. I mean, some of these things that I'll be talking about in the next couple of minutes, um, you know, email and things like that, they seem a little bit less important, but they really are very important in our organization. And I'd like to go over some of the reasons why it's so impactful for attendance in our committees, in our subcommittees. In large groups, attendance is crucial for representation. It ensures diverse perspectives and expertise are included in that. It helps with coordination. It helps to streamline discussions and decision making. It also helps to build consensus, facilitating a smoother agreement, and reduces conflict when you have more voices. Task delegation ensures everyone is aware of their roles and responsibilities. It also helps with efficiency. It prevents delays caused by repeat discussions or rescheduling. And engagement. It maintains morale and keeps all members involved. There are some requirements regarding attendance. It's required that all attendees attend 2/3 of all full GC meetings, as well as 2/3 of all meetings for assigned GC committees and subcommittees. Attendance is noted for each meeting, generally by the secretary. Your aggregated attendance record will be monitored throughout each term. And it's required to respond to emails promptly within 24 hours, ideally less if at all possible. So please connect your email to your phone so you would be able to do that throughout the day. We will also set quarterly GC dates in advance. Additional meetings will be scheduled throughout the year. So again, please set up your calendar so that it's visible on your phone. So you'll get access to those meetings that may be unexpected. So in the next couple of pages, we just have a couple of images. I suspect that a lot of people will already be aware of these, but again, it's important just to point it out in case if there's something that you may not be aware of or someone else may not be aware of. When an invite comes, it'll look very similar to this, and you'll just want to press the yes button. And if I know that neither of you need it, but since we're recording this, if a language is needed, you want to make sure that you let us know, because we would like to have 1 to 2 weeks to let our interpreters know so that they can schedule things on their end. So you want to add a note saying, yes, I need an interpretation, and state your language, and also be sure they'll let us know that you're going, and then press send so that we have that as quickly as possible. And go to the next page.
For some reason, it's not reacting. Okay.
So we need to be able to plan in advance for translation needs, as I mentioned, and we'll book those translators based on the confirmed attendance of the trustees. So if we don't hear back then obviously we won't be able to let the translators know that they need to schedule. So there's always that risk that we won't have them. So we can just go ahead and skip this one because it's really a little bit of a review. Meeting and Zoom etiquette. Diana, do you want to go over this?
Yes, sure. So as mentioned before, trustees must make every effort to attend all Global Council meetings occurring once a quarter. The next Global Council meeting is on December 12th. I'll remind you of the date a little bit later on. Showing up on time is great. We will often start with an icebreaker, very similar to the one that we did earlier. This is often the most important moment in the meeting because it builds trust, relationship. It gets to know other trustees, how they think, and also get to know some of the staff members that will be at the meetings. Plan to stay for the entire scheduled meeting time. We understand that you are all busy and all these things, considering that the Global Council meetings only occur once a quarter. This is really important because there's a lot of voting that happens at these meetings. There are moments that really, this is the time for you to get to know a lot of the important efforts that have been made in the quarter, as well as what needs to be voted on, such as the budget will be voted on at the December 12th meeting. So that's really an important meeting to really get to know how the money that URI is fundraising for is going to be spent in 2025. Meetings generally will start on time, end on time. They will not be recorded. So the only recording, if you want, of the meeting that you will get is the minutes of the meeting. So there will not be and also voting will occur live, as opposed to, there might be times where voting might happen in by email, but those are rare occasions. So you want to have your voice heard. Try to be in a place with strong internet bandwidth. We understand that in a lot of locations that is not available. If you have unstable internet, consider using a local phone dial-in. That might be much better. At least you will be able to hear the meeting, even while connecting to the meeting via a computer. So you could do both, as long as, keep camera on unless there is an internet issue bandwidth, so that it feels like there is a presence, that you're around the table in a circle with us. If we move on while you are speaking due to unstable connection or sound, please understand that and don't take it personally. And we are trying to manage time. And a lot of these Global Council meetings, they're packed with information. And so the schedule can be very tight also. Adjust your on-screen name so that we can properly identify you. Use the raise hand feature so that we can see that you want to speak, so it's more a question that it's better than interrupting a speaker. And translation will be provided as mentioned before. Please confirm with Mary ahead of time. Training videos about Zoom or other technology, we can make them available in a resource doc that we can share with you from a previous training that happened with the regional trustees in a past meeting. File systems and using Google Docs. Mary, would you like to lead us, please?
Sure. Sorry, I had something covering it. And could you actually go back one? Okay. Thank you. So we do have a very robust filing system that was created a few years ago, and all of the meeting minutes, as Diana had mentioned, will go up there. And anything that you need for your committee, you will find up there. And I believe you also have access to other subcommittee general shared information. So you'll become familiar with it as you go along. But before we get into that, I just want to talk about logging in. When you log into your Google account, if you have a lot of Google accounts like I do, I have 4. You'll want to make sure that you're in the correct one. So just make sure you're logged into whatever URI.org. When you're logged in, you'll notice the URI logo in the right-hand corner, along with either your picture, if you change the picture, or your initial. To switch from a personal account to a URI.org email, just click on the icon with your photo or first initial in the top right corner, and that'll bring you to the correct Gmail account. A drop-down menu of all your Google accounts will also appear. And if for some reason your URI isn't there, it doesn't appear on the list, just select Add Another Account option at the bottom of the list. And you'll see that to the left, and you can add it there. Okay, so understanding Google Suite. Having a Google account gives you access to the entire Google Suite. It's a variety of Google apps. If you're not familiar with them, I highly recommend going in there and seeing what they offer, because there are a lot of tools there that may help you. If you've used Microsoft and not Google, this is where you will find it. It's in the 9 dots where you see number 3. All Google apps have a consistent header layout. The application icon displayed in the top left corner. The circle indicates the account that you're signed into, as I had mentioned before. The square of 9 dots to access the different Google apps, and then the gear icon to access the settings for your application that you're in. To navigate to different applications, click on the application menu, the 9 dots that I had already mentioned, and Gmail, Drive, Calendar will be your applications that you'll use on a daily basis. Also, just as an FYI, if you do use Google Suite and you're used to using Google Meet, you won't see that here at URI. You'll see Zoom meetings instead, just kind of as an FYI. To navigate to different applications, click on the application menu, the square of 9 dots. As I'd mentioned, the most used applications appear at the top. Actually, you can go ahead and bypass this one because we kind of already reviewed it, but this is also Sheets is also there, and Google Docs. That's okay. You can go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, let's go over types of Google Drives. How to access the Global Council Shared Drive. The Google Drive is a cloud-based document filing and sharing system, and there are 2 ways to access your Google Drive. If you are already in a Google Drive application, such as Gmail, you can select the square of 9 dots in the upper right-hand corner and find it there. Or you can open an entirely new tab in your internet browser and go to the URL drive.google.com. As part of your URI.org account, you have access to 2 types of drives. The My Drive, your individual file structure, where you can organize all of your own personal documents. And then there's the shared drives, which are created by organizations like URI with a Google Workspace account and then shared with individuals. So once you've navigated to the Google Drive, the 2 different types of drives appear on the left-hand navigation bar, with your drive or My Drive being on top. To access the Global Council Drive, click on the Shared Drives option. The Global Council Drive will appear. Double-click on the drive to see the full drive structure. And then the Global Council Drive is structured such that the Global Council as a whole and each of its committees and subcommittees have their own file structure. When you select each committee, there are two parent folders. The first is for files from that committee, such as minutes that all GC trustees have access to. And the second is for working files of the respective committee that all GC trustees do not have access to. If you're not a member of a committee, it will be locked, and you'll see the little lock icon to the committee access folder. Please do not request access to these folders if you are not part of the committee. If you're a member of a committee, you will have access to that committee's files. Committee chairs and secretaries have content manager permissions, which gives you the ability to add, edit, move, or delete files. Other committee members have contributor permissions, the ability to add and edit files. They are instructed to contact you as a committee chair or secretary if they feel that files need to be moved or deleted. For security purposes, the general access on all folders and files should be set to restricted. In other words, never change the general access to anyone with a link can view. Questions and reflections? Diana, would you like to take over that?
Yeah, so I just want to check when will we be able to decide which committee or which subcommittee can we contribute to?
Great question. In the next few days, actually, you should be receiving an email from Danielle Error, who is the chair of the nominating committee, and you will be able to review and select up to 3 committees that you would be interested in serving on. After that, the nominating committee will review your request and will inform you shortly thereafter about your committee selections. So this will be coming up in the next few days. It should be going out either today or tomorrow, at the latest Monday. So I don't want to put pressure on anyone who's sending that email out, but by Monday, you should have definitely an email related to committee selections. And then within 2 weeks, you will have your committees assigned to you. So beginning November, you should be starting on the committee. Okay? Any other questions? In upcoming, we have the URI Essential Handbook by mid-November is going to come out. This is an updated version of the handbook. You already received the previous version of the handbook. It is being updated as we speak with the latest information. Also because we are doing a selection of new officers, and that will be also updated in the book. Training, there should be a training coming up also in November about roles and responsibilities. And also, if you are selected to be a secretary for one of the committees, then you will also go through training related to the secretaries and chair training. GC meeting, as I mentioned before, is on December 12th, and we hope that you will be in attendance. This will be a meeting mostly about the budget. It will also talk about regional efforts that are being done, that were done this year, but also are planned to be done next year. And we'll probably also talk about the strategic framework. So all these are important topics that will be discussed at the upcoming Global Council meeting on December 12th. And that should be on your calendars already. So I would encourage you to RSVP when you check your calendar.